16th of August 2020. Can you believe it? We're into August. Healing people, looking at Jesus healing somebody today. Matthew 15, 21 to 28. A little bit of news before we go on to that. Number one, we are open for private prayer, as you may or may not know. Initially in St. David's, and this is how it's going to stay through August, while I take a little break. Sundays, 10 o'clock until 1 o'clock, the church is open. Wednesdays, morning and evening, 10 till 12, and 6 o'clock until 8 o'clock. In September, because the rules are changing every single week, maybe we can look broadly at the rest of the parish and see what is what. But for the rest of August, St. David's is open for private prayer, Sundays and Wednesdays. Number two, as I said, the government guidelines are changing every week. A few days back on Sunday the 9th, we had a socially distant gathering on the lawn behind St. David's at 3 o'clock for an hour. We just brought our chairs, we came and we sat down, had a bit of a natter outside, sang a few hymns, had a Bible reading and a few prayers. It was great. It was great. I had goosebumps on my arms as we all said the Lord's Prayer together. Just being in the same space and hearing other human beings pray at the same time as me. Goosebumps on the arms, who'd have thought? We may do it again, but it is dependent on the weather, which is very variable. So watch out for social media. It might be like on Thursday we say, going to do it on Sunday afternoon. So watch out for that. There may be another one of those along. Number three, still the weekly option for Zoom, coffee, sing and chat. Glenda's leading those through August. Drop her a line to get the meeting code so you can use the Zoom program. She is Rev Glenda at lphparish.org.uk. So she's got a standard parish email address. Phone number, if you want to give her a tinkle on the blower, 07592 149538. Tuesday this week, the 18th. I think that's when the Zoom coffee is going to be. And look, if you're nervous about technology, okay, then you can have a one-on-one test session with her. Don't miss out. Right. The thing is this: myself and Glenda, neither of us were trained up for this kind of way of working. We both had to jump in with both feet, and we know how uncomfortable it can feel initially. So don't be shy because you've never done this kind of stuff before. We can help you. We can help you. Number four, while I'm away, because I'm having a week or two off now, while I'm away, Reverend Glenda will be sort of at the helm. She'll be sort of like the captain. She'll be putting up on our YouTube page each week either a Zoom service that you can follow in your own time. Don't need Zoom for that. It's just going to be a video. Or a little podcast like I'm doing now. And she's also planning to lead on Sundays in real time some Zoom worship where we sort of gather together and she will lead, and we in our respective homes or gardens or wherever we are will sort of follow along. Watch out on social media for more information as it happens. There will be lots of things for you to join in with as time continues on and I'm not around. Judy is happy still to deliver the written text of these podcasts and anything Reverend Glenda does as well. Just let her know if you want or you know somebody else who would love to have weekly delivered through the post the words to these podcasts. I know they go in far and wide. Let Judy know. Judy is the orchestrator of that. All right, back to today. Matthew 15. We had Bishop June last week, didn't we? Somebody better this week. Here we go.
Morning everyone. Today's reading is from Matthew chapter 15, verses 21 to 28. From there, Jesus took a trip to Tyre and Sidon. They had hardly arrived when a Canaanite woman came down from the hills and pleaded Mercy, Master, Son of David, my daughter is cruelly afflicted by an evil spirit. Jesus ignored her. The disciples came and complained, Now she's bothering us. Would you please take care of her? She's driving us crazy. Jesus refused, telling them, I've got my hands full dealing with the lost sheep of Israel. Then the woman came back to Jesus, went to her knees, and begged, Master, help me. He said, It's not right to take bread out of children's mouths and throw it at dogs. She was quick. You're right, Master, but beggar dogs do get scraps from the Master's table. Jesus gave in. Oh, woman, your faith is something else. What you want is what you get. Right then, her daughter became well. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Thank you. All right, let's have a thought based on that wonderful, wonderful little snippet of a couple of minutes in Jesus' life. Warning, though, gentle rant approaching. I've been a Christian proper for 27 years, and to this day, I'm still learning about the way that God interacts with us humans. For example, I was working on the car the other week, and it required me to remove some big bolts from part of the suspension arm behind the front wheels. Now, these bolts had never been removed before, since the car was made in 2001, so what's that, 19 years. And so I was wary and I was careful. 3 of the 4 bolts came out fine, and then the last one, it's always the last one, right? It's always the last one, snapped. So I have a bolt hole with a bit of bolt stuck in it. I got up my drill and I got up my hammers and I got up various other tools, and after 2 or 3 goes over 2 or 3 days, I was flummoxed. And because the way it had snapped, it was doubtful the garage would be able to get it out without damaging the suspension arm either. When the garage sees me coming, it's, oh no, he only leaves difficult stuff for us. What has he got going on here? I'd been talking to God through the process, asking him to guide my fat fingers and give me wisdom, but here we were, absolutely stuck. I was going to need a new suspension arm, and that worried me. I was annoyed, I suppose, that it would cost money, but my real worry was the car is old, so finding the part would be really difficult. The dealers would no longer have it, and if they did, it would cost a silly amount of money. And so it was off to the internet. Now, the car is old, and the car is actually rare, and to be safe, I needed a part from the exact year that mine was made. I had the part number, so I prayed and I began searching the internet. Now, in the back of my mind, right, this was going to take weeks or months before my search got lucky. As it happens, it took 2 minutes. A chap in Hungary was selling 2 used front suspension arms from his 2001 car, and the parts were exactly what I wanted. I emailed him to ask if I could buy just one, but try not to sound too desperate, in case he twigged that I really needed it and forced me to buy the 2. Some unscrupulous people out there. He agreed, and a deal was done. And bizarrely, it was the first thing he had ever sold on the internet. And from what I could see, it was the only thing that he was selling from his presumably scrapped car. Do you know, what are the chances? What are the chances? Now, to me, this incident smells of God, right? Exactly what I wanted and exactly when I needed it. And a seller who was flexible and helpful and was just branching out himself into selling on the internet. But at the same time, as I am happy for this wonderful answer to prayer, I wonder why God did not just bless my bolts beforehand so they all came out without snapping. No need for me to waste time drilling and banging and hammering. No need for me to have the extra expense of locating a rare part. No need for the extra work it's going to take to install this new part, so I can get everything back on the road. The only answer I can come up with is that sometimes God looks like he's not listening, and then suddenly looks like he is, when it comes to our prayers. Though I know he listens to every breath that each of us breathes always. He is God, and he knows best how to respond to our requests. Maybe God wanted to give me an illustration for this week's podcast. After all, my experience seems to mirror very closely what we see going on in the Gospel reading for today. We see Jesus wandering through a non-Jewish area in the north around the cities of Tyre and Sidon, up near the coast there. There he meets, unsurprisingly, a woman who is non-Jewish and who has a daughter who has a demon. They're real, okay? Therefore, we have somebody who can be regarded as an enemy of the Jews, who's not being well behaved, shouting at Jesus, and with a situation where some decidedly dodgy stuff has been going on beforehand. You don't walk down the street and come back with an evil spirit. You have to be up to stuff first. Jesus has, prior to this point, said over and over that he was only there to help and preach and teach to the Jewish people, his own kind. So he starts off by ignoring this woman. The disciples get fed up and ask Jesus for permission to tell her where to go and give her the directions as well. Jesus responds by reiterating that it's the Jewish people, the lost sheep of Israel, who he's going to help. The situation ramps up when this already undignified woman throws herself before him and starts begging for help. Jesus holds his ground and then says, either harshly or cheekily, it depends on your interpretation, that it's not right to take bread out of children's mouths and throw it to dogs. Either way, he's apparently telling her it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Does she get up and leave? Does she accept defeat? Does she scurry off? Does she? Heck. She answers him back like an Andy Murray volley. You're right, master, but beggar dogs do get scraps from the master's table. Now, if there was a pause, I believe it must have seemed like an eternity. This woman comes screaming up, and Jesus states his position. Then she starts begging and crawling, and Jesus reiterates his position. And then to top it all, she takes his words and uses them against him. The cheek. She was going to get it now. She was going to get it both barrels off Jesus. Everybody's watching. Everybody's waiting. And then Jesus speaks. He says, okay, you win. Your daughter is healed. And sister, you have the kind of faith that God loves. What? Hang on, Jesus. That's a U-turn. You tell us that God is the same yesterday and today and tomorrow. And here you are doing U-turns, 180 degrees. Presumably, like the learning experience of a snapped bolt, there was a need here for Jesus to allow the situation to come out fully before help was given. Was he showing that he was happy to chat to women, which is quite taboo at the time? Was he showing that non-Jewish people had as much right to come seeking as Jewish people? Don't know. Was he not quite sure of his response and wanted to test the woman to see her level of faith? Was he allowing the conversation to run to show he was not a magician, but that he was on a mission to the lost sheep of Israel primarily? Like I've already said, the only answer I can come up with is that sometimes God looks like he's not listening and then suddenly looks like he is when it comes to prayers, though I know he listens to every breath that each of us breathes always. So, if you have a long-standing request that you've been bringing before God that he seems not to be interested in, then keep at it. Keep at it. Or if he's just answered a prayer this week that you've been praying for years, don't try and work out why it's this week. Just accept it. Just accept it. If we knew the mind of God, he would not be God anymore. And that would be a terrifying thought. Terrifying thought. I like my God, mysterious and powerful. Right, keep safe, everybody. Especially you who are doing DIY this week. Be careful out there. Some questions, the usual 4, to help you sort of think a little bit longer on what we've been discussing. Here we are, number 1. Ever been absolutely stuck and God seems to leave you there for a bit? Have you ever been absolutely stuck and God just seems to leave you there for a bit? Number 2, have you ever prayed a prayer expecting nothing really and getting ping, an immediate response? Have you ever prayed a prayer expecting nothing and then you get an immediate response? Number 3, what do you think the woman's game plan was with Jesus? Do you think she thought about what she was going to say? What do you think the woman's game plan was when she came up to Jesus? And number 4, do you think Jesus always knew what he would do? Do you think as soon as he saw her, he knew what was going on and he always knew what he was going to do? There we are, number 4. A song for today, which I'll bolt on to the end of this. There's a song, it's well known, we've sang it before, that talks about the fact that God has a kind heart. Your heart is kind. It's a line in the song, 10,000 Reasons by Matt Redman. And so that's what we're going to listen to today. And the version I chose is one where it was sung live at Trafalgar Square for the Thy Kingdom Come Day. And as you look across the crowd, you'll see, we might think an atypical Christian is sort of English and white, but it's not the case at all. It's Christianity, global family, 10,000 reasons, 10,000 reasons. A prayer. Bow your heads, close your eyes, breathe for a minute, and I will pray. Dear God, thank you that your heart is kind and that you welcome us all and that you hear all our prayers. Help us to stick with you when it seems like you're not listening. Amen. Amen. All right, everybody. There will be online stuff, be it podcasts, be it pre-recorded Zoom services, be it real-time Zoom services. We're going to be open for the next couple of weeks. Looking forward to September. What can we do then? What can we do then? Steps, hopefully, to really returning, to really worship. Until then, keep safe. See you all soon.
Hey, you all lead this today, okay? Here we go. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship your name. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name and sing with everything today. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship your holy name. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be saved when the evening comes. We'll still sing. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, and worship His holy name, and sing like never before. Oh my soul, I worship your holy name. time. For all your goodness, I will keep on singing and singing and singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. Come on! Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul, and worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul, I worship Your holy name. Oh, You're so good, You're so good, You're so kind, You're so merciful, You're so majestic, You're so great. So many reasons to worship Him. We give You glory, we give You glory. We worship Your holy name. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, but still my soul will sing Your praise unending, yes. 10,000 years and then forevermore.